Hello everyone, today is the 28th of April. A while ago I talked about a character by the name of Dorotheus of Gaza. He was part of a group known as the Desert Fathers and Mothers and lived way back in the 6th century of the Christian era, founding his own monastery about 540 AD. If you remember, he came up with the great idea that the closer you get to God, the closer you get to your neighbour. For him, you couldn't have one without the other. To illustrate his thinking, he put it like this. Suppose we were to take a compass and insert the point and draw the outline of a circle. The centre point is the same distance from any point on the circumference. Let us suppose that this circle is the world and that God is the centre. Straight lines drawn from the circumference to the centre are the lives of human beings. When those who wish to come closer to God walk towards the centre of the circle, they come closer to one another at the same time as to God. The closer they come to God, the closer they come to one another. And the closer they come to one another, the closer they come to God. You know, this is genuinely profound. It has depth and clarity and simplicity. It's like looking down into deep, clear waters. It's the type of thing you wish you'd thought of yourself. But it took Dorotheus time and effort and an openness to learn before he reached this level of insight and spirituality. Like the rest of us, he was on a journey. He was the son of a very well-to-do, wealthy family, and early on he was really more concerned about himself than those around him, even when it came to living his faith. When he first entered a monastery, he brought his own private library with him to achieve his goals, and what he wanted was guidance in his reading so that he could grow and develop spiritually. What he got was instruction that it wasn't all about him and that not all the answers are found in books. As well as reading, his teachers also got him to work in a hospital for old people who were really very, very ill. The experience was the first step in beginning to leave behind his wealth, including his books and his fancy garments. Eventually he became head nurse of the hospital before being encouraged to set up his own monastery. What he had learned was that in addition to the undoubted wisdom reflected in books, you also had to learn to read the world around you and respond to need. You can begin to see how he arrived at his pearl of great wisdom, that as you get closer to God, if your journey is authentic, you have to get closer to your neighbours. There's another story from the Desert Mothers and Fathers which underscores that spirituality and contemplation and getting close to God cannot be separated from involvement in the world, especially the world of the poor and ill and disadvantaged. Listen out for the punchline. It's graphic and fantastic and leaves you in no doubt that, as St. James insisted, faith without works is dead. So, a young brother, close to the start of his monastic life, poses a question to an older one. He says, there are two monks. One stays quietly in his cell, fasting for 6 days at a time and laying many hardships and austerities upon himself. The other ministers to the sick. Which of them is more acceptable to God? The older man answered, if the brother who fasts 6 days even hung himself up by his nostrils, he could never be the equal of the one who ministers to the sick. As you can hear, it's vitally important to be engaged in the world in order to get alongside and get to know and help our neighbours. We can do that, for example, through our ongoing involvement in and support of J29. But it is also good to read and reflect, study and pray together in order to deepen our spirituality and understanding of why we live the way we do. In light of that, let me invite you to our online Zoom Bible study. It starts next Wednesday, the 5th of May, and will run for 4 weeks, starting at 8 o'clock each night. The study is kind of related to what we've been talking about. It's entitled Made in the Image, Faith, Identity, Personality, aka explorations in who we are and why we act the way we do. It will be interesting and eye-opening. It will get us thinking. If you're not yet signed up for Bandside Buzz, contact Amy Matson or myself for the Zoom details. And I promise, no one will have to hang themselves up by their nostrils. God bless. Bye for now.